So today we're going to go back, all the way back to the Garden of Eden, which we had talked a little bit about before in relation to the tarot card, the Lovers. And we showed how Adam relates to the conscious side of the mind and Eve, the subconscious side of the mind, while the angel above represents the collective unconscious, the divine. We also talked about how the story of Eden is symbolic. And in the story, the serpent had tempted Eve to eat of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And he tempted Eve by telling her that she would be like God. And that is the reason why God did not want them to eat of the fruit, because in doing so they would be like him. Was the serpent lying? Let's get into it. And so you look around today and you see that all the things that mankind has accomplished, technologically, scientifically, and we continue to make discoveries. Even we tend to step back sometimes and think, wow, how the hell did we accomplish this? To all the other species on the planet, we would certainly be like gods. And so I don't think the serpent in the story was lying at all. He just didn't tell her how long it would take, thousands of generations down the line, to reach that point. And all these incredible technological advances have come about primarily through our conscious side of the mind. Our capacity for logic, reasoning, deduction, analysis, which is what separates us from other animal species. Now, as a result of Adam and Eve partaking of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, they were therefore banished from Eden. But the other animals weren't banished from Eden. So why are they here? See, Eden is also symbolic of the subconscious side of the mind. When they ate the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that is when duality started to come into play. And being cast out from Eden represents the solidification of that. That is when we develop the conscious side of the mind. This is what separates us from the other animals. This is also where the ego comes from. And even though our conscious side of the mind has allowed us to make great technological advances, it's also our primary source of problems. Being cast from Eden was a punishment that we had to experience. And through experience, we gained the knowledge. And so we were cast into duality. Humanity is suffering from a huge bipolar disorder. For as advanced and as smart as we think we are, we really do some stupid shit. Nuclear power. It seems like a great idea until that reactor melts down. Fracking, destroying the rainforests, polluting and poisoning the oceans. I mean, we can go on about the environmental impact that we've had. But such is the nature of duality. For everything great that we accomplish, there's also an equal dark side to that. I mean, just in transportation, yes, we have automobiles. We can travel around very, very quickly. But it's also one of the leading causes of accidental deaths. We've yet to see the long-term effects of using Wi-Fi and cell phone towers that are beaming energy through your body 24/7. So if we're so smart, why do we do such stupid things that are going to only cause us problems down the road? And you may say, well, it's because of greed. And you'd be correct, because greed is a function of the conscious side of the mind. See, the conscious side of the mind is our sense of self, that we are separate from everything and everyone else. When Moses asked of the burning bush, "Who should I say sent me?" it replied, "I am," which is an identity. That's why the burning bush is on the conscious side of the mind. I am is a self-identity. Now, as we talk in spirituality, we're one with everything. Unity. Well, we used to be when we were back in Eden. But since we've had a separation from Eden and have taken on our own conscious identities, people's primary concern have now become doing for themselves, which leads to selfishness, greed, etc. Only caring about the self without concern for how it's going to affect the whole. And so the story of the Garden of Eden is really a story on how duality came about and the development of our conscious side of the mind, which was separated from our subconscious side, therefore separating us from the divine. It's no wonder why we stress the importance of meditation, to be able to cross-communicate with our subconscious and the divine. And maybe you have a little bit more insight into why one of the long-term goals of the magician is to prepare himself to cross the abyss. For the abyss is that separation between the two halves of the mind. And in by doing so, the magician will destroy his ego and his sense of self in order to gain that unity and oneness with everything. We're just trying to get back to Eden, in a manner of speaking. And we talked about how this realm, this world, is locked in duality, polarity. The Earth has a north and south pole. It most definitely is in polarity. We also talked about how everything is a result of the mind, and that we create our own reality. So was this world in duality before mankind arrived? Or is it a result of humanity's own bipolar disorder? It's an interesting question. We can certainly look at our own lives and all the, quote, good things and all the, quote, bad things that happen in it. If we create our own reality, are we not just switching between the poles? You know, we talked about the importance of faith and absolute certainty in what you're doing. But most people don't have faith. They have hope. They think hope is a good thing. Hope is terrible. Because that hope is always going to be offset and counteracted by a belief that it won't happen. Hope is extremely bipolar, and you're broadcasting two signals at once. It's entirely counterproductive. In any case, I thought I'd share with you my thoughts on this and give you a little bit different perspective on it, because this is going to lead into a whole other lesson. And I will see you then. Take care.